up each time I come into his presence, like I was almost practically weeping this morning. Oh my God. Ooh. Each time you come to church, can I get the keyboard player, please? Each time you come to church, it's not a social gathering. I was just saying, wow, I'm sure you heard me, when you were talking about fire. God has come, brought me here. I'm not going to say something new you haven't heard before. The pastor has not preached before. But I'm just going to recount experiences that God has taken me. 3 years. 3 years. God started calling me. The Spirit of God said, come deeper. There's more to life than this thing. If you come to church and you think it's a social gathering, there's more. There's more. Come deeper. Come deeper. This morning is not so much about myself. As a matter of fact, I didn't go to school. I stopped at primary school, got married to my wife. She had a master's. I had primary school stuff. Has a degree, primary school certificate. But to the glory of God, I have my PhD. I had my PhD 2019. To the glory of God. But the truth of the matter is not about this person. Please come up a bit. I knelt down, I think a year or so. I was praying by 1 a.m. I said, God, I need to know you. I want you. I knelt down by my wife. She was sleeping by the bed. I just saw that I started levitating, leaving the ground. I got scared. And I opened my eyes. I was still on the ground. There's a place in God we need to get into. I just pray that I will not go ahead of myself. Pastor Dave, the Spirit of God, presence of God here. I'm not usually like this, but the presence of God here makes me to shed tears. It doesn't happen so often. You understand? But God is here. If all you do in life is go through life without having an encounter, you are miserable. I don't take this lightly. To me, I'm sure, as my son there, I'm sure he doesn't see me cry this often. But God messes me up when his presence comes down. Ooh. Ooh. Since we spoke, Pastor Dave, I've just been saying, God, there must be a reason why you want me to stand before this great congregation to speak your mind. And a few things he has dropped in my spirit, I will share with you. Today, I surrender my mind that you will think through me, speak through my lips. I pray for someone here who has had an abandoned project. This is what God is saying. He is reviving that abandoned project. For someone here who your life has been abandoned seemingly, God is restoring you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. God have mercy on me. Just help me. Help me. 3 years he's been calling me, come deeper. There's more to life. If you have an encounter with a spirit, either demonic spirit or the Spirit of God, your life can never be the same. Never. You can come to church and sit like this. All what Pastor David read is just ephemeral. PhD, all that is just by the wayside. I'm just a vessel ready to be used. I came into the US a couple of weeks back and I realized that there's so much in the atmosphere. There's so much in the atmosphere here. A few lessons God has taught me being in the US. First of all, I landed in my friend's house in Atlanta, and I realized that a marriage of 17 years has shattered. The wife, I came in, I said, where's your wife? She said, 3 years ago, they've been separated. I said, wow. What? Ken, you are a Nigerian. There's this spirit that, I'm going to talk about a few things, God helping me. So I said, I need to talk to her. She knows me. So I called, I spoke to her. I said, I need to see you. She came. This is online, so he can bear me witness. She came, and I started speaking to her. As I was speaking to her, she started shedding tears. She opened her sleeve and showed me that she no longer worships God. She worships Satan. This was like a few weeks back. She showed me something that, like a mark of Satan. She worships Satan. I said, what? I didn't even pray before she started shedding tears. Let me tell you something. For those of us who are born again, those of us who know God, that is what is called the sovereign presence of God. There's also what is called the manifest presence of God. The sovereign presence of God. God is everywhere, yet he hides himself from you. That's why you pray so many times, there's no result. That's why you speak in tongues, some useless tongues, because you are not connected. I didn't pray. This is not about me, because God takes this vessel of clay and puts his spirit on it. What are you doing here? So I spoke to her. She was weeping. She confessed, and she left. By the time I left Atlanta, they are back. She has started coming back home to sleep. This is like 3 weeks ago. They are now having dinner, trying to work it out. My prayer is that God will work it out for them. As I'm speaking now, there are a lot of people here. Your marriage is shaky because part of the things, I went to a church 2 weeks ago. Part of the things God brought to my attention, the culture back home. The food, no matter how the distance, the culture influences you here, right here. You guys dance Nigerian dance. You are far away from Nigeria, but you do the dance. You sing the songs back home. You dress. If I see you outside, I will know this is a Nigerian because of your dress culture. I also know that there's influence back home. God told me. I sat in the church, and as I was sitting down, God started telling me that, see, the same way you bring the culture back home to this place, and it influences you back home, is influencing you. The same way you have also some culture, demonic culture. There's no distance in the spirit. Your words have no geographical limitation. Words, whether spoken 20 years, 50 years, it will be hanging in the atmosphere, waiting for the right moment. If you curse your son, curse your daughter, curse anyone, that word will be hanging. So influence from back home. Some people from your village, from your hometown, no matter what you do here, they are remotely controlling you. And God told me to tell the church, can you imagine how your headquarters can influence you? Where's your headquarters? Where's your headquarters? God is telling you that thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And he was telling me how you can actually allow yourself, open up yourself so that heaven can begin to influence you. Thy will, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Not on earth. Where? In. You are the earthen vessel in earth. There's nothing new I'm going to say this morning, but I'm just going to call you back. Over 3 years, I've made prayer something that I do regularly. I lead online prayer Thank God for Pastor Dave also, who does firebrand kind of prayer. I lead them online for 1 hour. I pray for hours to lead prayer. So my spirit, myself, I started talking to myself. Aren't you going to pray? That you are praying to lead prayer. And most of the time, God begins to open me up. Do you know who you are? By the way, the title of the sermon or the talk, it's not a sermon, Pastor Dave is the preacher here. The title of this talk is Where Are You? Where are you? For those of us who want to write text, our text is taken from Genesis 41.